Good day, sir friends. So today I will be explaining to you how I solve these three functions and three examples of derivative functions, starting with easy, medium, and difficulty. So what we have here is the easy example. So the question is, find the sixth derivative of the function f of x equals to 3x4 3x4 plus 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 6x minus 2. So to solve this, all you have to do is differentiate. It's now differentiate. So 4 times 3 equals to 12. 4 minus 1 is equals to 3. We do the same thing to the rest. 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 minus 1 is equals to 2. And then 2 times 5 is equals to 10. 2 minus 1 is equals to just x. Since there is an invisible x, it is an invisible one in the x. So now I'm just gonna put 6 over here. Since 1 minus 1 is 0, so the x disappears. And then you don't have to put this number since it is a constant number. So it will always be 0. So this is our first derivative. Now on with our second. We do the same thing. 12 times 3, 36. 3 minus 1 is equals to 2. 6 times 2 is equals to 12. 2 minus 1 is equals to just x. Is equals to 1. But all you have to do is just put x. Now this put here is 10, since 1 minus 1 is 0. So the x disappears. So I have to bring this down since it's a constant number. Or x. Now 2 times 36 equals to 72. Let's put x. Since 2 minus 1 is equals to 1. Since there is already an invisible 1 in the x, you don't have to put 1 above. So just put 12 here, 12, and then you don't have to put this and this. Since they're both, you don't have to bring down this constant number since they all equate to 0. Now it's going to go on for our fourth derivative, which is just 72. So just because our function stops at the fourth derivative, we can still move on until our sixth derivative. Since the constant of since 72 is a constant number, it is equals to 0. So our sixth derivative is 0. This is our sixth derivative. That is how I answer the first example. First example, the function. So this is our second example, which is the medium. Find the second derivative of the function 1 equals the quantity of the 4x cubed minus 2 times x cubed minus 4x. So first, we are going to use the product rule in this equation. So first we'll write our first derivative, which is 4x cubed, is 2, and our derivative of x, which is the x cubed minus 4x. Now we do the same thing the other side, which is x cubed. That will be our first derivative, and then our derivative of x is this. It's 4x cubed minus 2. Minus 2. So after you differentiate them, you can now simplify the derivative of x. So first we bring down our 4x cubed minus 2, then simplify our derivative of x. So 3 times 1 equals to 3x 2. So it's 3 minus 1 is 2. Then 4. Put this before, since 1 minus 1 is equals to 0. So the x disappears. Now we just bring down, which is x cubed minus 4x. As for our simplify, which will be 3 times 4 equals to 12x squared. You don't have to put the negative 2 since it is a constant number, so it always equates to 0. Now that we are done simplifying our derivative of x, we can now move on to distributing. So 4x cubed times 3x squared is equals to 12x 5. And then you'll also distribute it to the 4, which is 4x cubed times negative 4, which will be negative 18x cubed. Now that we're done with the 4x cubed, we can now move on to distributing the negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 times positive 3x squared is equals to negative 6x squared. Negative 2 times negative 4 is equals to positive 8, negative 8 plus, you will distribute this as well. So x cubed times 12x squared is equals to 12x 5. And then 4x, and then negative 4x times 12x squared is equals to negative 48 and 48x cubed, since 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. Prior to that distributing, you can now combine or add the like terms. So the like terms here are the 12x5 and the 12x5. the 18x, the negative 18x cubed, and the negative 8, the negative 48x cubed. So 12x cubed with 12x5 plus 12x5 is equals to 24x5. Now negative 18x plus negative 48x cubed equals to negative 66x cubed. Now bring down the rest since they don't have any like terms. So this is our first derivative. So we can move on to finding the second derivative. So we just copy dx 84x 66x and 6x minus 8. We can now differentiate these numbers. So 24, so 24 times 5 is equals to 120 x 5 minus 1 is 4, and then 3 times negative 66 is equals to negative 198 minus 1 equals to 2, negative 198x squared. The rest is 2 times negative 6 is equals to negative 12. So just x, since 2 minus 1 is 1. There is an imaginary 1 of the x. Then you don't have to bring down the number 8 since it is a constant number. So it is a 0. So you don't have to put it down. So this is our second derivative. Now we're on to our third example, the difficult one, which is find the second and third derivative of the function y, the quantity of 1 plus square root of x over square root of x. So what will you do? So what you'll do is differentiate. So y prime equals to 1 plus square root of x is x and 1.5. Then for the square root of x, since the square root is of x is in the denominator, it will be negative. So x over negative 1.5. So after you do this, you will simplify. So 1 times x, then x negative 1/2 is equals to x negative 1/2 plus x 1/2 times negative x 1/2 times x negative 1/2 is equals to just x, since the positive 1/2 and negative 1/2 is equals to 0. So it equals to bring down x 1/2 and 1. So our first derivative is negative 1/2 negative 1 half x since there is a negative 1 half, you add, which is negative 3 over 2. Negative 1 negative 1 half minus 1 is equals to negative 3 over 2. So this is our first derivative. Now we can move on to our second derivative. Negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2, parenthesis, negative 1 half, negative 1 half, x, 3 with 9, 3 over 2. So what you will do is 3 times 1 is equals to 3, and then 2 times 2 is equals to 4. Copy the number x, and then since there is a minus 1, so I take 3 over 2 minus 1 is equals to 5 over 2. Negative 5 over 2. So this is our second derivative. So let's move on to our third derivative. We will just basically do the same. E and a half and so copy, which is 5 over 2, 5 over 2, and this is 3 over 4. Copy x, then negative 5 over 2. So I'll do here is 5 times 3. So our third derivative is 5 times 3 is equals to 15. 2 times 4 is equals to 8. Copy 8. So negative 5 over 2 is equals to since there is a minus 1 here, negative 5 over 2 minus 1 is equals to negative 7 over 2. So this is our third derivative. So that is all of my 3 examples and how I solved them.